Okay, you're good.
Thank you. Thank you. And so happy to be here. Happy Thursday to everybody. If you're joining us for the first time, my name's Cheryl Cortese. I think most of you know me at this point, probably. I've been with the Juice Plus Company now for 34 years and looking forward to that next 34. What always amazes me about this call is, you listen to so many different stories, as I said, just, so many different aspects of life, challenges people can have. And just, you never really know what somebody else is dealing with. They can look perfectly fine. And so knowing that our product makes such a difference, that it's so foundational to health, I still feel it, it's a moral obligation as well as a mission to make sure that you share with people both the product and our business, because so much stress, comes along with financial concerns or just desire to have more freedom in your life, to be able to spend time with the things that you love, the people that you love, instead of having to be, really roped in many times to jobs that are very stressful would be again the word. And as we talk about these stories and you hear everything from children having wonderful results, and to me, that's one of the hardest things to deal with, is when you see children really uh, having challenges that I feel like children shouldn't have. But anyone who has great results or results at all, it just makes you very, very happy that you were part of that. And something that occurred to me too as I'm listening tonight is the stories that we don't have to tell, which is really good in a way, is we don't really have the stories to tell from a standpoint of prevention. The illness you didn't get, the flu you didn't have, the problem that never came about because you were consistent with your Juice Plus, or when problems do come about, that they're very manageable. I think that, it's almost like that gets forgotten, but prevention really is really what it's all about. Not just your body having the right foundation to heal itself, because I truly believe that is where it is. We were meant to be healing machines, but if we don't have that foundational base, there's nothing for the body to work with. But all of the problems that people did not acquire because they were consistent with their Juice Plus and consistent with it every day. And that's another thing that's really important, is you think about it, it is food, it's whole food. We all want to eat every day, and nobody's saying that you should not, that this is not a meal replacement. It is a bridge between what your body is able to find, and I was talking today actually to a nutritionist on how depleted our food is as far as its nutrition. Even if you try to buy the very best quality and organics, it's still, we really need that bridge. And that's one of the great powers of this. Well, tonight, what I was going to do with my National Marketing Director team and leadership team, a number of our people took a course with Darren Hardy. I was not one of them, but I've always been a great fan of his. He wrote the book, The Compound Effect, which would be a great one. I would recommend that you read. It's pretty fast to read, but it talks about, as you develop anything in business, just the consistency of effort is always going to pay off in a major way. It's almost like that effort becomes exponential as you continue to be consistent with your activity. And to give you a little background on him, for the past 30 years, he's been basically a success coach. He was actually editor and publisher of Success Magazine. And so he's been a coach for corporate businesses, entrepreneurs, people like that. And we have some notes here I thought I would share with you tonight from that course that he just did, because I found them quite interesting because they so apply to what we do. And again, I can't, underscore enough that we are in probably the most what word would I even define it? Because I think it's so important to hear, is that we are more timely, we're more relevant, we're more desired for what we have to offer than we've ever been in our 51 years as a company. People are so awake to the desire to be able to protect their bodies and take control of their health. And we hear this over and over, and I hear it in every direction, people looking. And so our products certainly, and then everything as far as our business is concerned, you'll see a lot of it in what I'm going to share. But just to give you a little background here is that, a lot of the things he discussed in this course were very applicable to what we do as far as our business. And just a little info is that projections, and that's business statistics, projections are that there will be a labor and skills shortage for the next 4 to 8 quarters, which means about 2 years. That as we look as we go back into the world here from this pandemic we've been in, we're kind of seeing a reshuffle as far as what people do and how they're going to do it. People have been referring to it as the Great Resignation. Folks decided, well, maybe I don't want to work in that 9-to-5 job from now. Maybe I want to have more control over my time. Maybe I can't go back to that job. It doesn't exist. Maybe they are requiring things of me that I'm not willing to do. So for so many reasons, that job shortage will happen. And yet those people will want to fill that space and need to fill that space of income. And he talks about turning this and not calling it so much the Great Resignation as calling it the Great Renaissance. And if you look at the word Renaissance, it's renewed interest in something, but maybe with a little different perspective. And so now is the time, and this is something I feel so strongly about. If I look at the past 34 years, and we've gone through transitional times during those years, of course, just my time with the company, not the whole 51 years, but 34 years, I've seen us grow, of course, in technology. I've seen us shift product lines from water filter and air filter to Juice Plus. And it was the people who in that shift really took control of their activity, their leadership role. They stepped into leadership from a standpoint of they were going to utilize every possible aspect of business skill to put together teams, and they became the people who really grew up with powerful, powerful organizations. So what I'm saying to you tonight is you're at a very magical time, and this is the time that you really want to look at expanding that team, that partner base, as we call it today, but really look at that. Now is the time to attract and keep and win recruits while also influencing the people who are in your business that are in the game, so to speak. But this is the time at this point. Again, you can call it the Great Reshuffle, as people kind of redirect, reset the manner in which they're going to go about their lives. We have never been more current in the marketplace. I was talking to a girl that has decided to come back in my business. She was one of my national marketing directors in the late 80s. And so we think about the late 80s. I want to think about that as like, that's yesterday, okay? That's been 30-something years ago. And so she was right in the beginning, and she went on to do other things, other companies. She's been successful, but all of a sudden it's just this passion for, she's got now her children are grown. She's got 5 grandchildren, and she wants them to really have this mission of health. Everything from our products to our tower gardens. So I'm finding that people are coming back from the past as far as really seeing this as something that they want to invest their time and effort in because they want to be part of the mission, or they're waking up within our business, or they're new because they are just hearing about us at this time. So the thing about the marketplace today, if again, we're looking at people reevaluating their lives, reevaluating how they're going to invest their time. And you want to be there with this option. And one of the things she and I were talking about, because she's been in this type of business as long as I have. And she said, isn't it amazing? She says, think about 25, 30 years ago. She says, we were trying to explain why this business was legitimate, something that was real. People had, almost an opposition, and that doesn't really happen anymore. Today, if we look at every type of businesses out there, whether it's the traditional brick and mortar business, where someone has a building and they're marketing from that building, and we can go from everything to retail stores, grocery, whatever. But so many of those things, clothing, everything you can think of, you can be an affiliate, you can refer people. You get a little stipend for doing that of some sort. So it's become very common to refer people to something that's good and get paid for it in some way, shape, or form. So we fall right into that. We fall right into that in a beautiful way, because this can be very part-time, or it can be, a full career, because even there's so many reasons why we would be so appealing. But even if you look at our benefit package, and the fact that we're still, as far as I know, the only independent contractors who have the ability to grow up and have a full benefit package that would be the equivalent of any CEO of a large corporation. So, we really are or have stepped into our own in so many ways as far as the marketplace is concerned. And if you look at over the past maybe 150, 200 years, the three ages of how, people worked, acquired their living. You look back at the industrial age, and, that was here a very difficult time. There were no laws really that governed workers. And then you think about people who came out of the Great Depression. That would have been my parents and, my mother's sisters. And I can remember when we went to college, and they were like, "You mean you're going to choose what you want to do as far as a job is concerned?" Because for them, if you just had a job, it was a time of survival. And so the fact that you could choose and you could work toward a career path was almost something that seemed odd, because their whole focus was just to create a living coming out of the Depression. Then it became the information age. And this was probably from around 1950, 2008, up into right in the beginning of the 2000s. And prosperity was the focus. People looked at, really now being able to step out and not just survive, but create real prosperity. You could own your own home. You could own your car. You could, it wasn't just survival. It was prosperity, and able to go past prosperity to comfort. And today we see that it's digital, it's social age. Things are different for the people of, the 20s and 30-year-olds than maybe for myself, as I fit into that information age, because they don't have to worry so much about survival or abundance. That has been created. There's a foundation for that. The information age really established it. So today we're looking at people looking at what are the values that they want to embody in the work that they choose. So it's not just being able to choose your work. It's, being able to say, okay, how do my values line up with that? What freedoms am I going to have and want to have? And if you look at bottom line, you look at the reshuffle, or if we call it the Great Resignation, or we call it the Great Renaissance, people are reevaluating so that they can direct their lives where they can have choice, freedom of choice. So, it's, as they referred to it, as pandemic epiphanies, is reclarifying your lifestyle and how you're going to design that, because today you have more choice in being able to do that than you've ever had before. So in this great reshuffle, what is talent looking for? People, where do they want to take their time and their talents and grow? And what resources, are there to ignite this? So according to his, evaluation, looking through statistics and things that he sees as someone who coaches as far as success in the workplace is concerned. And you might think about yourself here too, is that one of the things, and the very first things, is that people want to be A players at whatever they decide to do. They want to be high performance, but they want to work with other people who are A players. They're looking for a sense of belonging in community with people that are like-minded, that are, have a passion or an energy for the things that are appealing to them. So if you think about the foundation we've laid as a company, is we already have been in that place where, we do attract people that have that passion for good health, that have a desire to make a difference for others. We love, what do we refer to it as the Juice Plus family, the Juice Plus community. There is something that sets us apart in this particular profession because of the manner in which we've evolved over the past 25 years with the Juice Plus product. The next thing that you would see people looking for is a sense of purpose. They want to be part of something that matters and makes an impact. They're also looking for company values. What does the company value? Can they line their values up with the company that they're with? Again, we really score very high in these areas, because if you look at, our company president, and everything has really come down from his philosophy of life, is that truly wanted to make a difference for people. But the difference that he was looking to make was not just, as far as the things that you need from a human standpoint. If you look at our history, smoke detectors, which was our first product, was safety. Then came water filtration, air filtration. Those were clean air, clean water. And here we have Juice Plus and the Tower Garden. So it's pure food. So all those things are very basic to mankind. But if you know Jay Martin, or if you've heard of him, or if you'd like to know him, what he really loves is being able to create something that creates you would almost say, job opportunity or financial foundation that people can really step up in their lives and meet their dreams, so to speak, from a standpoint of security. So company values are strong. Purpose, people, they're looking for that. If I think back 34 years on our business, I saw people around me, and I was pretty much the same as, we wanted to have prosperity. We wanted to grow financially. It was almost like the number one thing there was this going to be something that was, for me, I was financially desperate at the time. But once you get past that, once you can breathe financially, then what is it that is really going to fuel that energy that's going to create the drive for you to grow? And so these things, though, they're coming in, you might say, right there at the forefront, instead of discovering them after you can financially breathe. So it's important, I think, to keep in mind as you share your story with people, look for those things within you that line up with this and talk about them. The fourth thing would be personal growth. People seek a place where they can grow and become better and really step into their talents, expand their ability to truly be and live at the highest level of their, physical, financial, spiritual, mental, just really finding all the things within that are the best they can be. We often hear again in our business that this is referred to as a personal development course designed to look like a business, because there is a lot of growth that goes along with it. So we line up with this very well. And of course, Paycheck is important. This is listed as number 5 here, but it is important because money may not be the first motivator anymore, but definitely we all have the task of creating a living. And if you can create a living that's not only comfortable, but you can also help other people do that, then you have really worked at helping to fill those 4 things above that we just mentioned. So when you're thinking about your business story, if I were you, I would take these things and more or less think about yourself and write out, what attracted you? What keeps you here? Uh, I feel, as I said when we started this, knowing what our product does, hearing the story, there's a moral obligation really to share it with people because, you listen to some of the results people have and you think if the person who shared with them had not had the courage to do that or felt intimidated that they wouldn't be interested or that they would not respond, then they would have done them a great disservice. So, if we look at our business, all of these things fit very well. He talked about too that pride is the number one driver. Uh, and how can you help someone uh, look at something that they can align their values with and feel proud to tell people about what they do? When we do our Q school, which many of you know about, many of you may have been part of, the homework before you get there and you turn in is that I have them list 30 things they're proud of about their business. And only 5 can be about the product. I mean, I am extremely proud that we represent a product that's as powerful as Juice Plus. And I'm proud of things about the product, aspects about it. But what are another 25, that make you proud or you have pride in as far as the business that you do? I think that would be a really important exercise, and I'm going to encourage you to do it because as you talk to other people, they're going to identify with your words, they're going to identify with your thinking. They're going to either want what you have to offer or they're going to pass it by. So I would think about all the things that I'm proud of so that I can share that in conversation with people so they can identify with it. When you think about business story, and we look at developing our customer base and our teams, really when you tell your story and you talk about the heartfelt feelings that you have about the product and what you do from a standpoint of sharing it with others, your business basically. When you share that story, that's really the close. We talk about what's the approach, what's the close. The close is the story you tell because it's what people are going to identify with and decide if they're attracted or not. And then the next step would be more information, really helping someone see exactly what it's about. But the true close comes when you're sharing your product story and business story. So I think we should talk a little bit more too about the business story, maybe go into that in depth in the next call, next Thursday night, as we begin to run out of time here. But reevaluation and reset is, it's really how are you going to share with the people so that this becomes very compelling. When you think about the thought process that's been evaluated through interviews and statistics, I love social statistics, finding out why people think the way they do, how a person or the population's thinking has shifted. And we've certainly seen a lot of shifts here in the last 2 years as our world has really taken on such, so many things in so many different ways. So if you look at our company and just looking at it a little closer, if you think about people growing up into top leadership, those are, you become an A player as you grow into leadership positions, national marketing director positions. And we have a lot of really good models for people to aspire to who are like-minded. Those positions you want to use definitely to attract others because anyone can grow up into a position in our business. Unlike corporations where there might be one, or 2 people at the very top of it, but you're not going to see everybody be able to acquire a top position. These positions validate what we have to offer. And I think that at this point, one of the things you want to look at is, are we playing too small? Have we not really shared with people effectively the power of who we are and what we have to offer, each and every one of us? So I would ask yourself that, are you playing too small? You may want to really look at how you're going to tell a big story, because you've got people behind you who can validate that uh, totally, and look at what we refer to as sponsor up. Make that list of who you would really love to have in your business at this point. And maybe people you have not asked before, or maybe people you've asked in the past, and their lives may be very different. Their desires may be very different. Certainly, as far as purpose, you can see that what we do has a huge impact on others. Our stories definitely validate that. And really, purpose is what defines our Juice Plus business, is that we are very purpose and mission driven. If we look at path, certainly there's a very ascending, strong career path here. If a person decides that they want to grow up into a full-time career, all the way to PMD plus, with still no limits. There is no limit on what you can do. So again, what is it going to take to acquire a powerful story so that when you tell that story, people realize who and what we are? Personal growth, as I said, just growing up in this, I think we all can look back and say, it definitely has been a personal development course. You just, we have the ups, the downs, the bumps, the things you're totally elated over, and things that you're, feel like you've been flattened by. So as you handle all that and you grow up in that, certainly it changes. And as far as paycheck, again, that's unlimited in our business. That can be anything that you desire it to be, as far as consistent, organized effort and discipline. So really, the best work environment supports lifestyle, and we would all, and I think this is something we're all looking for and everyone's looking for. You would like to have a work environment that's stress-free, drama-free, productive. It's work hardy, really be able to put strong work ethic to work, but also have fun. And I think that's, we're all very excited about the fact that people are beginning to gather again, because if I look at my 34 years, I can't imagine where I would have had more fun in my life. And I've had more fun in those years than ever before. And I thought my life was pretty good. So it's been amazing. If we look at top management, and again, we're looking at corporate there, I think there have been some wonderful things that are coming about, and we're going to see more. The true, and he mentioned this, that the true responsibility for any corporate entity is to make sure that the right people are in the right seats on the bus to do the right job. In other words, the right talent is in the right place, and that the wrong people are not in the seat that the talented person should be in, or the person for that talent. Doesn't mean that they're bad, or that they don't have good skills. They just may be misplaced. And this is something that I see our new CEO Stuart working very hard to do, is make sure that the right talent is in the right place, and that we have a very productive working arrangement machine, whatever you want to call it. Certainly systems, we're seeing that being worked on as far as our corporate side is concerned. But what I think is so powerful is that we have the most skilled leadership with the greatest longevity in this particular profession and company than any company, that no company comes close to it. So we're well skilled in knowing what to do on a daily basis, and being able to teach that if people want to interact with that education. So we are in a very good place to really take advantage of the marketplace. And I would encourage all of you, let's make a list of the 30 things that you're proud of. Let's come to the call next week, and we're going to focus on the business story, how to share that story, and then how to, we'll go from there to three-way calls, how to harvest team members, partners from the customer base, how to take those new team members, it may take 3 or 4 calls here, how to take those team members and launch them effectively so that they go into action right away. I think too often what happens is that people don't activate quickly enough when they start our business. They are not encouraged to do that, haven't been in the past. And so that lag time really creates a situation where they don't capture that, energy in a way that's most effective. So we'll talk about that. But I think that if, you can get real clear on not only, and I'm happy to, anyone who wants this, the copies from these notes, you can send a request to Missy, my assistant, and most people know Missy at Cortese Group at AOL.com is my email. It's last name and group, Cortese Group at AOL.com. But we'll be happy to send you the notes. But again, make that list, think about, who you want on your team. And then let's really go into, and Jeff and I used to talk about that, is every so often I would do a recruiting blitz, okay? Pretend I had no team at all and say, okay, what am I going to do to acquire as many new team as possible, as quickly as possible, so that I have a re-energy. And that's something we'll talk about too, is how to restart and re-energize the people who are already on your team. This is a very important time if you really want to access this business model at the highest level and capture the future. We're going to see people do extremely well as we move into this next phase of business development. And, why not us? Why not every one of us on this line? Because it will happen. So again, 30 things on what you really feel proud of as far as your business, a list, and then think about the people that you do have on your team already. And we talked a little bit about this last week. Really speak to them and find out who wants to play. If they want to play, come to this call. And let's continue to talk about these basic things. If they want to play, be on the Monday night call, because that's, inspiring. If they want to play, let's get their list together. Let's talk about who they want on their team. So let's talk about who they might have that are customers that we can activate to become partners. So it's simple and strategic, but it requires consistent discipline on a daily basis. So I've really talked past my time, about 7 minutes here, almost 10. Great thanks to Sash and to all the people who shared their stories. If I were you, again, that's another thing I would do, is go back to the YouTube channel and really look back on some of the stories. I mean, I love being here every Thursday night because I hear so many stories I would never hear. There are so many people who it doesn't get out there, because in any venue where you're going to have an event, there's not enough time for everyone to tell their story. But there's some they'll make you teary, because you just are so proud of the fact that you had something to do with that person having the results they did. Some of them will be amusing. Some of them will be definitely inspiring. They're all inspiring. But anytime you feel like you need to be re-energized, go look at a few of those stories. Go listen to, people tell you about, the results they've had. And it's all on that YouTube channel. So anyway, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to invite you to be with us next week and bring people with you. It's another good way as we, help each other. We help each other by sharing the story. So thank you, Sash. Thank you, the team that shared tonight. We really appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully next week with a few other people. Okay. Hi, Sam.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you
so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Joanna.
everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.